Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the T110E3. It is the only non-turreted American Tier 10 tank destroyer, but that does not really make it much of a downside. You see, the E3 features some crazy frontal protection. And when Wargaming reworked this vehicle's armor with enhanced graphics, they actually buffed it big time. See, a lot of people are all about the nerf on the E3. Oh, you can pen the superstructure now. They are leaving out the fact that you can no longer penetrate high explosive on the side hatch. That was a huge weakness for the tank. First of all, HE did a lot of damage if you just shot around that area. It would do like 200 to 300 from an average 120 millimeter, which is kind of crazy. But it was more the fact that if sometimes a skilled player or even an average player just loaded HE and knew about that spot, there is a chance that they could absolutely ruin your game. And it makes no sense. So I'm really glad that Wargaming actually decided to fix it. I don't know if they did it on purpose, but I'm glad that they did decide to actually fix that weak spot, because it allows the tank to be much more confident when using gun depression. But I'm also glad they gave it some proper weaknesses even when using the tank all down. I think this is actually a proper way to balance a vehicle, and this is what people need to keep in mind. Allowing a tank like the E3 to have no weak spots when using gun depression, I think is poor balancing. Because what ends up happening is you just can't fight the tank using gun depression. And that's cringe. Nobody wants that situation. It would be like a Concept 1B with 680 alpha. I don't want that. So I'm actually glad that Wargaming has created situations where even if you're using the vehicle with gun depression, there are chances that a player aiming properly will be able to cut through you. The only thing I don't love is that the hatch is really troll. Sometimes you get a lot of bounces with it, sometimes you don't. But in general, I think the way it's currently balanced with a pretty weak lower plate, awful sides, but really strong hull down capabilities with a high alpha allows it to kind of check all of the boxes. So we've been waiting in queue for a while. Let's get into a battle. Well, it took a bit longer than I wanted it to, but we are in game. I have the problem of just getting distracted and recording my videos really early. I mean, it kills my sleep schedule. Right now it's 5:30 in the morning, but at the same time, I don't really know what else to say. We're just gonna play this game. I'm losing my mind. Let's activate our super speed boost. The E3 is one of those tanks that I think is mandatory to run 2 repair kits on, and the super speed is much more important than adrenaline. Don't get me wrong, increasing your DPM is nice, and there are definitely arguments you can make to certain situations where it could help you. But I also think I can make arguments of where getting in the position and getting out of position faster is also really, really beneficial. So I think really both sides have pretty good arguments. There's an E100, and it's a great situation to explain how me using super speed just gave me 670 damage that I would not have had if I didn't use that ability. So that's a great example there. Alright, well, we have the VZ in front, and I don't even know what the VZ shot at, to be honest. I don't know if they have a 183 back there, but I also don't really want to find out. We can see that the Bolshotun is bled out a bit, and our grill is making a really interesting play. Bro's just going for it. We are going to move up. Oh, there it is. We got a bunch of tanks on the enemy team spotted. We got the WZ in the back, and a nice chunk into the WZ. This is such a great example here of the armor on this tank just being really strong. I mean, we are literally able to sit here, take shots from the enemy, and not really worry too much in return. We got the type in front, and oh, he does pen me, but not a great trade for him. We did 740 damage, and in return, he did literally 200. It is just such a good example. So we have the VZ over here, and obviously the VZ is a big threat, but I'm also really worried about that WZ and what exactly will go on. Okay, well, let's back up. There's no way that VZ's going to poke me. While we do have the WZ in the distance, I think right now the best play to make is just to chill here. And, Well, if he's going to show me his lower plate, I'm just going to shoot him. And then we're going to use our super speed and back up. Again, great example of where having this super speed boost in reverse does allow you to get in and out of situations much, much quicker. So we're going to move up, and I'm going to aim in on the VZ hatch. That's so cringe, bruh. If that shot had hit, could have given me a huge advantage, but unfortunately it didn't. We have an AFK IS-8, which really sucks. I think right now, the best play to make is to back up. Ah, there you go. WZ hatches me. How fun. Alright, well, I don't think the VZ's really a problem, but the 183 most definitely is. So, we're going to move up over here. And, okay, the 183 is not spotted. Okay, well, that's good. And bad. There's the 183. See ya. That's pretty important, actually. Just getting that clear on the 183 gives us a huge advantage. We can also see the VZ flanking, and we're going to just turn as quickly as possible, and we'll see if he bounces us, possibly. Well, he doesn't bounce me there, but we obviously feature a big chunker of alpha. 695 into his tank there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just push over here, and there you go, he bounces me. Again, I'm not allowing... Oh, the WZ's actually on the other side. Okay. Let's activate our super speed, and that's going to allow us to back up and get an easy shell into the enemy VZ. And then let's hope the Type bounces. Oh, he misses. That's even better. Well, we're just going to rush the Type 71 again. This is where that super speed is absolutely crucial, because it allows me to get my way into the front line as quickly as possible and get the clears into the enemy. So now I'm praying that that WZ is not smart enough to shoot me in the side, because we need to step into the base cap. Looks like he is not smart enough though, and we're all good. Technically we are not a one-shot force tank unless he high rolls, so pretty good stuff so far. We have 48 seconds left on our super speed, and there you go, we've captured that base. Now we're going to move up. I do not know where the enemy WZ is going to position himself. I think the best play for me is to just capture all the bases, so we're now going to step into base B. The WZ has no camo, so that's the good news. And the bad news is that he could roll around on a funky angle and absolutely catch us off guard, which is not what I want. So we are now going to simply make our way over to base A. Hopefully that WZ... Oh, there he is. Perfect, actually. We're going to aim in right on his tank. He bounces me, and a nice 642 damaging shot. At this point, we have blocked a lot. And we've also dealt a lot. And this WZ is in a really awkward situation. So we are simply going to push up, again, with our super speed boost. We're going to aim in on his vehicle. We're going to load a gold shell and guarantee the clear. I really don't think I need to make much more of an excuse or example of the E3's capabilities in live gameplay. We literally just carried what was a certain defeat with this tank. And we didn't do an insane amount of damage. I mean, yes, 6,000 is a lot, but the amount of effort we put in felt like 8,000. But it's still a great example of just how capable the E3 is. I mean, that was an absolute carry and a half. I don't know what else to say. 1,700 base XP is absolutely ridiculous. And by the way, for anybody that was going to argue adrenaline is more important, I don't think you can really argue that as the case anymore. I'm 100% confident the only reason I won this game is because of the fact I was using my super speed boost. That super speed allowed me to completely change the outcome of that game for a victory, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So we are going to now make our way to another game I played in E3 earlier today. And this one is on Dynasty. Dynasty is a decent map for any hull-down style vehicle, and again, the E3 is a very flexible tank. With 8 degrees of gun depression, and the alpha damage it has, there's really no situation where you're going to struggle in the tank when it comes to flexibility. The only issue that this tank has is the fact that it's immobile. You need to use that immobility smart. You got to use your brain. And when I'm driving this tank, I know that its biggest weakness is not the lower plate. It's not that the fact that gun is a little goofy on its accuracy. It's the fact that it gets caught out in the open very quickly. So if you want to win in this vehicle, there are 2 things you need to do. First of all, make sure that you are putting yourself in a situation where you cannot be rushed. You notice that in that game on Winter Malinovka, I made sure that there was nobody that could get around me. I cleared the biggest threats. The 183 was obviously the biggest threat that needed to go in that game. So I focused the 183. I made sure that I had my super speed boost saved for the Type 71, and I took apart every single threat one at a time. And that's what you need to do in this tank. The mediums are always going to be the biggest threats, in my opinion. Once you've gotten the mediums cleared, then you can focus on the rest. So, that's why we can see in this Dynasty game, I've positioned myself more towards the medium flank rather than towards the heavy side. Now, that 268 version 4 thought that he was going to be able to catch me off guard. However, that's obviously not the case. And because that vehicle has such an inaccurate gun, there's really just no world I was going to struggle. This is where the E3 really struggles, though, is the reverse speed. If this tank reversed at 14, it would be really good, because you'd actually be able to get out of situations, or even 15, and Wargaming removed the super speed boost. The problem with the E3 is that right now it is heavily dependent on the speed, and that's why you will never see me dropping this super speed, because I know it is so important to have this when getting in and out of the games that we are playing. So the enemy E100 shoots at the Yag, and now we have our Yag, and an E100 in front of us. Well, he's obviously going to shoot me in the lower plate, and 690, and then my higher alpha rolls. Well, actually, no, my alpha is the same. But either way, he absolutely out-traded me there. But it's not too big of a deal. I see that they have 3 tanks, all immobile, that are completely stuck on that flank of the map. And I can make my way behind them, taking advantage of the fact that they don't have mobility, while also clearing the enemy's mobility. This is all the things going through my mind. As I said, you need to clear the mobile tanks first before doing anything else in the E3. And I know that the 4202 is the biggest threat, so that is exactly who I'm going to try and clear. I was actually surprised this 4202 did not shoot me in the track wheel and stop me, but I'm not going to complain. I get a free shot into his vehicle, and then we back up. So we're at 4,200 damage now. I know that the 268 is going to die, because there's no way the E100 is going to roll around the corner and shoot me when the 268's right there, so I'm going to shoot the E100. And while the E100 may have a lot more hit points than me, what it doesn't have is a faster reload. And that's where driving the E3 feels really, really nice. So we have the E100 and the FE4202. The FE misses his shot. And I'm just trying to think of what's the best play. Well, clearing the Yag's probably the best play, so that's what I'm going to do. 4202 is a leaving, so he's not really my problem. And at this point, we've dealt over 5,000 damage. So I got 2 options. I can shoot the 4202 or I can shoot the E100. The 4202 could max roll me and kill me, but I know it's not a threat. The E100 is a threat, so I'm going to focus the E100. He bounces me, gets mad as well. Bro got so mad that he bounced me, he gave me a thumbs down at the end of the game, which is pretty hilarious to me. But I could care less. Because he bounced me, and because I have a faster reload, I'm just going to load a gold shell and slam it right into his turret. And there you go. Even though we die, it really doesn't matter. We did 6,300 damage, and bro dies 1 second later. So that's just a flat dub for me. This is such a good example of why the E3 has 2 amazing capabilities. And the one is hull down, and the other one is just a bonking. It doesn't have the most DPM. It's actually like the 2nd lowest damage per minute tank destroyer, I think, in the game. I mean, if you line up all the TDs, the E4, XM, Grill, Yag, V4, 268, 263, Badger, 4005, 183, Hori, WZ, Foch, all have more DPM, yeah. So the only tank that has less DPM than the E3 is the Minnow. And funny enough, they're both very similar on their playstyles, but I can definitely tell you that the E3 is an absolutely amazing tank. First thing is that it doesn't have APCR standard, but it's just the fact that the vehicle hits so hard, and if you know how to use it properly, does a really good job. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.